So lately, I've been talking a lot about burnout, realistic expectations, and letting go of guilt. Putting that plan into practice, on the other hand, is a challenge in and of itself. So let's try and work on that one project at a time. Hey friends, welcome back to the Unfinished Projects Club. If you're new here, my name is Jen. Today is a WIP Chat. I will be chitter-chattering with you while I work on my project today, which is the January snack-sized canvas from Diamond Design Co. I recently unboxed this. It's probably one of the more recent videos on my channel, if I am remembering correctly. So if you are someone who loves crafting, but also tends to take on way too much, you are most definitely in the right place. So, like I said, what I am working on today is my January canvas from the Diamond Design Co. As you can see, I did a section already. It does go quick. Like I said, since the majority of this is just background color blocking, it does go quick, which is awesome. I am absolutely loving this canvas so far. I'm loving everything about it. The drills are spectacular. There's like hardly any gapping. I feel like when I work on this, I feel like a master square diamond placer. I mean, they're straight, they're beautiful. I couldn't ask for anything more. So far so good, y'all. So far so good, to the point where I was on Etsy earlier checking their website, seeing, I wonder what else I'd want. Those Reagan Kubitschek Care Bear canvases look kind of cute, right up my alley, you know. But yeah, I am loving it. So yay. Bodes well for it being a year-long project as I fling drills at myself. So what I'm using today, obviously, my Diamond Design Co. canvas for January. I am using my tray from Creations Morin. I thought it was kind of perfect to go along with this theme. I have a mini pen from Jim's Handmade Pens on Etsy. Just your standard single placer in one side with some glue dots, and a Diamond Art Club multi-placer on the other side with putty from Tracy's DP World. This is an older one. This is from an event last year, but I love the scent. Frosty Mint. It's in the shape of a cute snowman. It's so hard to stab into these Tracy's putties because they're just adorable. But anyway, yeah, and for a hard placer like me, her diamond putty, or her diamond painting putty, it works really well. I don't tend to make a big mess on my canvas with it, or as big a mess. So that's always good. But beyond that, what you see is what you get here. So just quick life and crafting updates. So I finished my first WIPGO goal. I got a page finish on my Molly Harrison Escape to the Moon cross-stitch conversion. If you want to see what it looks like I've posted it on Instagram. I am starting to see more details in the dragon wings coming out. I absolutely love it when that happens, when you can just see that picture coming to life. So really pleased. So first WIPGO goal is complete. Yippee. I also did order my drills from Evermoment for my Glistening Wings project, which you saw featured in my Stitches to Sparkle video. And they have shipped, so yay! Now it's just, you know, the waiting game. Trying to be patient, which I am admittedly not very good at. When those come in, I will kit them up with y'all. And again, go over the, not so much ordering process, but once you get your quote back, how you go ahead and place your order. Trying not to put my hand in the glue. It's really hard. So that project, which is another WIPGO Go for the month, is coming along. I'm just considering any progress I can get on that a win, just because, like I said, it's kind of a waiting game at this point, waiting for the drills to come, and you know, they'll get here when they get here. So WIPGO is looking good for me for January. This canvas getting completed this month is also looking good for me because, like I said, these sections really do not take that much time since they are majorly color blocking. I did this one in maybe like an hour last night. And that's just me being a slow placer. With me being a slow placer, I should say. What you see here being slow, I'm usually not quite this slow, but like I said in my last video, when I'm filming, I can't wear my magnifying reader thingies because I bump the camera too much. So I'm kind of at a bit of a disadvantage right now. I mean, I can see enough. Thank goodness for light pads. But yeah, so projects are going well so far. Hoping to touch my cross stitch soon. My letter I fairy that I'm working on for my stepdaughter. I need to get that worked on. I'm also debating starting another crochet project. I want to make a pair of hand warmers. I have all this sock yarn, but I don't have the initiative to make a pair of socks. But I want to do something with it. And I did find some projects for the fingerless gloves, some patterns for that using sock yarn. So why not, right? So that being said, crafting wise, that's where we're at. Life wise, beyond that, I mean, everything is the same old around here. Everyone's back to school, back to work. Like I said last week, life's just, you know, slowly getting back to normal. My son, my older son, the boy, went back to college. I believe I mentioned that as well. I finally found something about a school that I'm not exactly a fan of, and that is the way they handle scheduling. Anybody that's been in college knows that, you know, freshmen tend to get, you know, the leftovers, pick of the leftovers when it comes to classes, right? Which I completely expected. I've been there, done that. So yeah, for him, the thing that bothered me, and he had an issue with his classes, which I'll get into a little bit more. They had to have everything done and registered for before Christmas break, obviously. And he did. He had a schedule sent to him for spring semester, everything. So, first day of classes rolls in. Now he is on the wait list for one class, so he probably won't get into it. He's completely booted out of another class, which is like a necessary class. It's one of their college-themed seminar classes that every student at that school needs to take. So now he's lacking credits to be a full-time student. He needs to find a class to take. One of his instructors for his band class, because was promoted, so I guess that means she's not instructing it anymore. So he got put into a different one. He has a small music scholarship to this school because he's minoring in music. And one of the requirements is for him to take a performative band class every semester. Well, last semester he ended up in 2 because marching band, which is his main, and then he was in symphonic band. So this semester he signed up for jazz band. They put him in a different jazz band because, again, this instructor got promoted, I guess. But it's not considered performative. So I don't know how this affects his scholarship. And I told him, I'm like, you need to get on someone about that because, I mean, it's not huge or anything, but, it's something. So I don't want him to be penalized for something he had no control over. But yeah, it was just weird how like the day spring semester is about to start, all of a sudden now he's booted. He can't get into this class and on a waiting list for this class and that class. So he ended up having to just take whatever he could get to get full-time status. So he's in some kind of political science psychology type class, which, you know what, he'll probably find really interesting because he's odd like that. But on the other hand, every single one of his classes is Monday, Wednesday, Friday now. He has no Tuesday, Thursday classes, which I was like, well, that's cool. You get extra days off, get work done. If you can find a job, get a job. He just looks at it as, I'm going to get burnt out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which maybe he will. I don't know. But it was just weird. Like I said before, I get freshmen get like the leftovers. But if everything was signed off on and approved before Christmas break, how come the last minute changes? It's like you had everybody sign up for your classes, but then you didn't make enough sections or something. I don't know. It was weird. So yeah, that's where he's at. Again, I guess it is what it is, but see how quick this is coming along? I'm loving it. This just getting this canvas complete this month is gonna give me a sense of accomplishment. Progress doesn't have to be all or nothing. Anything can be real progress, no matter how big, how small, whether it's a page finish on one thing or just something little like this. Still, one of the things I wanted to do this year was get more done in the way of diamond paintings, and this will help me accomplish that. This set of canvases. I'm very pleased with my purchase. Anyways, so work is work. I did get approved to do that data analysis boot camp I was talking about in my last WIP Chat. So I will be doing that starting, I believe, next month sometime. I'm trying to remember the exact date. Part of me is like, yay! And then part of me is now suddenly going, I mean, it's a boot camp. It's going to be intense. Hopefully this old brain can handle it. Once upon a time, I would have looked at it as, yeah, no problem. But I don't know. Just hoping that I'm actually getting what I want and not something I end up regretting. So anyways, these drills I'm placing right now, it's probably hard to see, but they're fairy dust drills. They are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the shimmer on these is just amazing. It's hard, like with the light pad on and everything, and plus you're on camera. But when I turn it off and look at it, they're gorgeous. And I do have, so the background's all fairy dust. The script, like I was saying before, this is also fairy dust. And then there are a couple ABs in the ribbing of the mitten. I don't know if you can tell. I think you can see it a little bit looking through my viewfinder. But yeah, love this canvas. In case you can't tell. So, what is one word you would use to describe how your year's going so far? We're a couple weeks now into January. Are we still in the getting all my resolutions done phase, or are we starting to kind of back off from that? I'd love to hear from you. Where are we at? I don't know if I can find one word to describe how my year's going so far. I would say it's very much a work in progress. Kind of fits. Certain aspects, I think I'm achieving what I wanted to achieve. I'm more consistently sitting down to do some of my crafts. I kind of was slacking on that towards the end of the year last year. Work-wise, you know, I'm excited for that boot camp. I'm working towards some goals there, and that was another thing of mine. I really didn't discuss it too much on the channel, but you know, I have goals at work. One of them is just, I'm not sure I want to stay in real estate training. I've been kind of looking around, seeing what else is available at our fine institution. So I've been talking with some people, leaders in other areas that I've met, and just kind of picking their brains, as it were. And plus I'm doing this boot camp, so it's got to help me. But so I have that, but around the house, family-wise, I'm still not sure I'm where I want to be. We've talked before about, reducing clutter, all of that. That's always going to be, I think, a major work in progress for me. Getting more involvement from the kids. Especially the oldest. Like I said, he doesn't come around as much anymore, so he just doesn't, any of his quote-unquote jobs he had, they're not getting done, so we have to do them, which, okay, fine. I've mentioned before, he is in his 20s, which most of you would sit there and say, okay, he's a full-fledged adult. Why are you still talking about him like he is a kid? He's also on the spectrum. So he's very high functioning, very stubborn, like his dad though. So while, yes, he is a full-on adult, as of right now at least, he wouldn't be able to support himself. So he, for the foreseeable future, will have to live with either mom or dad. He was, for a little bit, still following our week on, week off schedule that we had with the kids. Now that they're all older, it's very loosely followed now, admittedly. But he recently he's just started staying with his mom. So there's reasons. I have suspicions for reasons. I mean, it is what it is. Again, he's an adult. He can make his own decisions. But yeah, so we don't have him around as much. You almost have to beg him to come over, which is kind of upsetting to me for his dad. His dad loves spending time with him. But he's, again, stubborn like his dad. Both of his parents. Oh, my goodness gracious me. They are both so stubborn. I say that like I'm not, but I am. I fully admit that I am. But, oh my goodness gracious me. Are those people stubborn? If anybody, any one of you has an adult child on the spectrum, I would love to hear from you. Any advice you have. I am forever trying to help out his dad. I guess one of my husband's biggest fears is that, we're getting older, He's in his 50s. I'm going to be 50 this year. What happens to his kid when he's not around anymore? If he hasn't gotten to that point where he can take care of himself, what's going to happen to him, you know? He has a job, but it's nothing that he could support himself on. Especially in this day and age, he wouldn't even be able to pay rent with his job. So, yeah, I mean, it's a very real concern of his dad's. You know, what is going to happen to him when I'm gone? So, if anybody has a background or knowledge in that space, I would so love to hear from you. So, changing gears, going back to how our expectations of the year are going so far. I've been talking a lot about that lately. Goals and expectations that I'm trying to set for myself, realistic, trying to be good to myself, you know, take the small wins where I can. Those little music notes are I'm gonna really pay attention over here, y'all. Just as I am so not an expert when it comes to, I know how to reduce stress. And I know how to realistically set goals for myself. I am learning as I'm going. I am trying to be better with myself about that, because I do stress. I stress big time, all the time. I mentioned last week, that's one of the reasons why I had to leave teaching. I was stressed too much. I was getting burnt out. I was getting migraines just about every single day. It was not good for me. It was not good for my health. It was not good for my relationships with my family. So I had to do something, and I chose to leave. So yeah, that's one way to handle stress. But what if that's not an option, you know? Like, what if the current job I have now hadn't have come along? How do you all deal with your stress? Do you meditate? Do you have a really good therapist? I am not opposed to any of that, anything that a person finds that is helpful to them. When I got divorced, I was in therapy, and I will forever credit that for the reason why I was able to recover from and move on from my divorce the way I did. But that being said, I'm not immune to stress and burnout. It's just something I've been thinking about a lot, especially in the new year. Because sometimes I feel it creeping up again. Certain things at my current job or things at home, like I said, that I want to get accomplished, and I just don't seem to be getting done to my satisfaction. I think that's why I've put more of a focus on making sure I am doing something crafty every day. I was in a place where I kind of wasn't enjoying doing things as much. Maybe it was anxiety creeping into just the stress of the holidays. You know, everyone gets a little down in the dumps around Christmas. But I had a hard time finding interest in things. And as of right now, at least, I feel like I have a renewed sense of interest in my crafts, my creations. So I am very pleased about that, because I don't feel like I'm forcing myself to sit down and do something. Like yesterday, I could not wait to get this started, which I know. You get that excitement about new starts. I finished my page on Escape to the Moon. I was like, okay, cool, I can move on. Let's do something else. And I just kept staring at this one. I'm like, oh, I'm going to start this now. And I could not wait to sit down and do it. And I got putty. I don't know how I did that. It was on the drill, not so much on the canvas. Of course, she picks bright blue putty to work on a white background. Because, you know, who wouldn't do that? Hopefully, that's better now. We'll find out. No, but just the reason why I ask is just because, I mean, I definitely haven't mastered it. I'm working on it, learning in real time. How to be good to yourself, how to be gentle with yourself, how to not let the perfectionism take hold. That's my big one. You know, I got to be perfect. I guess that's oldest child syndrome too. That was something I learned when I was doing therapy after my divorce. I'm very hard on myself. I expect myself to be perfect. I was like, well, yeah. Why wouldn't I? I didn't realize that was like a bad thing. I guess it is, though, when you beat yourself up over it all the time. That makes sense. I think one thing that I have done this year, at least so far, to help myself get back into finding joy in these types of things is WIPGO. I really think having that silly little bingo board giving me permission to rotate and switch projects has helped tremendously. Having this channel has also helped. I mean, I know we're not bustling or anything over here, but God, we're getting close to 100 subscribers, y'all. That is nothing to scoff at. I can't believe it. It's like, wow. There's like a few dozen of you that like watching me. Thanks. But no, no, I think this channel's helped me too, because again, it's given me a purpose. Oh, that was just not a good pickup. So again, thank you all. Thank you all for showing up, for watching me, for making me want to make more videos, and for keeping me in line. But yeah, giving yourself permission to rotate projects, choosing those small wins, progress over perfection, you know, you've heard them all. But these are things that we need to remember. I think taking a little bit of time off over the holiday, like I did, I usually do, but you know, took a few days off of work, traveled to visit family, kind of pre-filmed some of my YouTube videos, so I wasn't worrying about that as well. You know, it kind of gave my brain a break to sit down and think about, okay, why are you struggling to find joy in the things you love to do? Why would you rather sit and sleep all day? And like I said, I know it's got something to do with anxiety, depression, the holiday down in the dumpies that we all get. I get that. But I didn't want to let it, that's Tabby, take hold. These drills have been great quality, by the way. I know I just said that I found a Tabby one. It's very few and far between. I mean, seriously, out of this whole section I've done so far, this is my junk, my trash. And one of them is just this random, I don't even know what this is supposed to be, crystal. But yeah, I've not found too much at all. Anyway. It's just about, you know, choosing those small wins, like I said. So what are you giving yourself permission to enjoy without pressure right now? Because that seems to be the theme. Enjoying what we love to do, no pressure. We are the Unfinished Projects Club for a reason. We don't always finish. You've just seen a very small sampling of the number of projects that I have unfinished. I understand that that drives some people insane to have a bunch of WIPs. I get it completely. I obviously would love to finish my WIPs, but I am going to take any progress I can get and count it as a win. Because it's all about the process sometimes. Is anybody, well, if you are a cross stitcher and you're watching me, do any of you watch Stitchin' Mommy, her floss tube? She has amazing organizational and planning skills, but beyond that, she's got a butt ton of WIPs. And a lot of them are huge, huge projects, full coverage projects that she will admittedly never finish in her life. But it's the process for her as much as it is, I can talk, getting things done. She's got some things that, you know, I want to give this as a gift, so I need to get this done by such and such a time, and, you know, that type of thing. Or, you know, I want to get this done by my husband's whatever birthday. And so she does have projects that have a timeline, but most of it is just the joy of working on the project, the joy of planning out what she's going to do at any given month, the joy of figuring out how she's going to touch all 100 plus of her WIPs. There is something to be said about that, you know? I watched her floss tube for, oh goodness gracious me, probably going on 8 years now. I have to remind myself that 2018 was not just a handful of years ago now, because that's when I got back into cross stitching, picked up diamond painting. It was about 2017, 2018. And yes, I still have diamond painting canvases and kits from back then. I've mentioned that before. Back in the time when the only place you really could buy diamond paintings was maybe once in a while on an Etsy shop or through AliExpress. Pre-Diamond Art Club days. I have some of those canvases upstairs in my closet. Isn't this beautiful? I'm sorry. I'm like stopping and staring every once in a while. I'm like, oh, I just love it. Oh, come on. My putty is starting to unputty. That, and it would help if I put things in straight. You know? So we are getting close to the end of my lunch break. Yes, that's when I chose to film. Kind of got a busy week coming up this week at work, so I wanted to make sure I got this filmed for you all. So anybody have anything to add in the comments about stress, burnout, being good to yourself? Please contribute to the conversation. I would love to hear from you, including, you know, what projects are you giving yourself permission to be low stress and pressured about? No pressure to get it finished. Or what projects are you, like I said before, is there anything you've decided, you know what, I'm just not feeling it, and I think I'm going to put this in a timeout for now? We all have them. But I've done all the white. Very pleased. I don't know if turning off my light pad will give you a look here at the gorgeousness of these drills, but they really and truly are gorgeous. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Whether you have placed a few drills, finished a page, thrown a couple stitches into your project, or just needed the company, it all counts. So I will see you in the next one. Until then, be kind to yourself and your projects. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Bye.